Good morning, everyone. Once again, this is Blackforexgroup coming to you with another market analysis video this morning. We're going to be taking another look at the USDJPY. Now, before we get started to break down this forex pair, we have to state that this video is for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice, but we know why you guys are here. You guys are here to find good, quotable forex content that can help improve your ability as a trader and help put a little bit of extra money in your pocket, especially in these troubling times. Okay. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Break down this forex pair. Okay. Now you guys know before we break down what is physically happening on the chart, which is defined in technical analysis, we got to talk about the fundamentals of exactly what is going on with each currency. Okay. So first we'll start with the JPY. Now, the JPY is starting to pick up some steam in the direction of the strength. We had some news come out last night with we did have some news come out around 7:30 last night with the JPY, and it came out very positive for the JPY. So along with that, and then we also had some more news come out during the latter part of last week's trading week for the JPY. Also, that was positive towards it getting more strength. So the JPY is starting to pick up steam with its strength, as we can see evident by it here. It's just not picking up all crazy here on the chart. It's starting to range out some. Okay, so we got to continue to monitor the JPY to see that if it still keep picking up steam, picking up strength as more and more positive economic news start to come out about the JPY. And also we got to pay attention to what's happening with the Japanese government in relation to combating its inflation. There's a lot of reports now coming out of Japan about how the government, the prime minister, and everybody from the government now is taking a very, very active role in trying to combat its inflation. Okay, so one thing you always have to keep in mind in trading is that people talking about stuff can get the markets to move, regardless if there's an actionable plan in place to actually cause what they're talking about to happen. Okay, so just because they're talking about it, charts are starting to move. Okay, so we're gonna have to watch how all these things play out with the Japanese yen, which is the good, positive economic news that came out during the latter part of last week's trading week. The positive news that came out around last night, around 7:30 last night, would be considered March 28th. And then we got to see about what these talks that they're talking about planning on doing, how much confidence are people getting from what they're saying. Okay. Now let's discuss the USD. Now the USD is starting to pick up strength going into this trading week. And this is due because the economic measures, policies, and interventions that they're putting in place to combat inflation, along with the increase in interest rate from 25 to 50%, is starting to help the US dollar gain strength. Now, another fundamental economic event that's happening that's causing the USD to gain strength is that the oil prices are starting to drop. And if you've been noticing, if you're watching these videos and you live here in America, what you're noticing is that prices at the pump are starting to go down some. Not a whole lot, probably about 20 cent, 10 cent, in the change area, but the prices are still starting to go down some. And this is solely due for several reasons. The circulating supply of oil around the world has increased, which causes oil to drop down in price per barrel. And on top of that, there is more the peace talks between Ukraine and Russia are starting to look much more promising than the other two or three times they sat at the table. So what people are starting to theorize is that if these peace talks continue to go good, then then the sanctions between the Russian gas and energy sanctions and embargo will be lifted, which will also increase the circulation of oil around the world. And being that a lot of people in America is not spending money in the economy due to high oil prices, If the gas goes down, it'll be more available money to spend on consumer goods. If more consumer goods start getting brought up, then the economy grows. If the economy grows, the US dollar grows, right? But if we start to have an opposite negative effect of that, tensions between Russia and Ukraine starts to pick up, oil prices start to go back up, the economic policies, measures in place that the US government and the Fed is putting in place to combat inflation is not combating it effectively or expeditiously, all those coinciding factors will start to bring the U.S. down, start bring the U.S. dollar down, and the U.S. dollar will lose all its strength that it's gained since the opening of this trading week, and it will start to become much weaker than it even has been before these past several trading weeks. Okay, so now that we got all the fundamentals out the way, let's discuss what's happening on the chart. Okay, so we've been going up since about March, and in this situation, when it was going up, fundamentally, what we had was two weaker currencies duking it out, battling it out, and JPY just became much, much weaker than the USD. And because JPY became much weaker than the USD, the weak USD acted as the stronger currency, which brought this all the way up to here. Okay, but now we're definitely, since the opening of the market, which is around this area here, we're definitely getting a shift in its fundamentals. Now we're moving from having two weaker currencies to having two currencies trying to pick up strength simultaneously at the same time. The USD is trying to pick up strength, and the JPY is trying to pick up strength. And because of this, this is why you see a range here forming. You definitely have a range here forming. And this range can actually continue to form out for throughout the rest of this trading day. And and then once we see in a situation just like we said, we had two weaker currencies, we're gonna have two stronger currencies. Okay. So then basically what it comes down to is which one is stronger than the other. Now, just because with the other currency may be stronger than the other does not mean that that other currency is weak. It's just that you're dealing with two strong currencies. So if one becomes stronger than the other, then that's going to dictate its direction. Okay. So if the becomes stronger than the JPY, then we're going to go towards the long position. If the JPY becomes stronger than the USD, then we're going to go towards the short position. Okay. But for right now, throughout this trading session, we definitely look like we're just going to be continuing to range it out, bouncing between this price point here, here, or possibly as high as here before coming back down. Okay, we are probably not going to get no decision on what position is going to take, either from a long side or a short side, till we get to the latter part of this trading week and we get more economic news, which is going to dictate, and more economic news and more economic events that's going to dictate which way this chart is going to go. But as of now, we definitely just look like we're going to be bouncing between two price points for the near to intermediate future. Okay. Now, me personally, I don't like to trade ranges. I like to trade momentum. I like to trade momentum based off fundamentals, not based off two currencies of equal strength. So if you do decide to trade this, you could be in a situation where every time price gets here, you can buy. Every time price gets to this area here, you can sell. But you have to be careful about this, because once one currency becomes stronger than the other, that position is going to take off immediately from there. Okay. But while it's ranging out, if you decide you want to trade this pair, you can buy here, ride it all the way up. You can sell here, ride it all the way down, because it's going to continue to range out. And if the Japanese yen becomes stronger than the USD, then we're going to have some retracement as far as here to here, or possibly even here. Okay, when we start getting below this market structure area here, then it's pretty much safe to say that we're having price turnover. Okay, but if we stay above this market structure here, this is just basically a moderate retracement area. This is a more aggressive retracement area. Anything below this area would be considered price turnover. Okay. Now, if the USD becomes much stronger than the JPY, what we will have is probably get into our moderate retracement area here or some, and then start to take off. Because if you want to continue to buy this economic zone one, you don't want to buy things at high prices. You want the price to discount before you continue to buy. Okay, but for the most part, it looks like for the near intermediate future, we're just going to be doing this, ranging and consolidating, because we're dealing with two currencies that are both trying to gain strength. Okay, I hope that information was helpful for you guys. Happy trading.